Hi everyone, my name is Mncwango. I'm a student at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. I'm currently doing my master's in psychology. Yes, I'm finishing off this year, finally. um, Basically what brings me here is the interest of the topic based on enlightenment and what I've read and researched about this whole time. I've spent the past 2 years trying to find out more about our existence and digging basically about why are we here, and trying to find out whether all this information that we've been given is actually valid. I don't know. I'm just one of those people who just likes, when you've been giving something and when you've been giving information, it's like you can always question and ponder about it. Is it enough? Should it be like this? Why is it like this? Who chose for it to be like this? So yes, I'm one of those culprits, definitely. So basically, what has brought my interest mostly has been the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment, and I've spent basically the past 2 years trying to investigate more and more about it. And wow, to my surprise, I found so many deep things about it, right? And I've also found out exactly why we, in most cases, we as African people, especially in South Africa, we're not really exposed to it, right? And the only reason why we're not really exposed to it is basically because of the system. And another reason is there's this system that has been given to us, right? Trying to keep us together and trying to keep us as a black nation that doesn't necessarily really has to ask too many questions. With us, we are given something and we are told something and we are supposed to take it as it is. First of all, what really brought me into asking these questions and wanting to research about it was mainly because I found all the information. When you are born, when a child is brought into this world, we are born and we are told, oh, as soon as you grow up, okay, you're born, you spend the time with your parents and everything, you're born with your parents, and the next thing, you're supposed to go to school. Okay, I'm going to school. You go to school, you go to school, you go to school. Up to grade 7, you're like, am I done in school? No, you're not. You still have to go through school, high school. You go through school for high school. Okay, you go to school, and then after high school, still it's the same thing. You need to go to school. So basically, you go to school, you go to school, you go to school up until maybe 28 years of your life has been spent or wasted on you just educating yourself, rather than you achieving things and getting enlightenment from actually what and putting out contribution into this world, for that matter, and trying to find out new things, and based on your existence and everything, as if everything that we've found and everything that is here is already enough. When if it was enough, I don't think people would be born every day. But I believe that there's a reason for people to be born and brought into this world for certain different contributions. People like Einstein, you were here. There's a lot of other people, Mahatma Gandhi. There's a lot of other people who were actually here and who brought their own influence into this world. So basically, I just don't want to take it like, just lie and be like, oh, just give me books. I can read all of those books, I can do this and that, I can analyze and do this and that, but like, what am I contributing to the world, and what am I contributing towards my black society? Which is very important, because if you look at our history, if you look at many things for that matter, there's this source of information that has been withheld from us as black people, and there's this source of information as based on expectations as to how we should behave, and from this point, this is what it's just basically a system, a structure that goes on and on and on, in patterns that never seems to end. But what changes? What changes really are happening with us? What changes? What my only problem has been just that changes. What other changes? Okay, I've been given information and I feel like it's just not enough. Why do I feel like it's not enough? Because there's so much more based on that, based on the fact that there's certain selected information that has been given onto us, right? So, digging up on the Enlightenment, I found out that the Enlightenment, some may call it illumination. It has been based on our history, right? And in this history, I also found out there's many things that have been written about, Egyptian people and how God decided to destroy Egypt because of certain customs and things that they believed in and everything. And then I dug up basically more about Egypt. And then I found out, basically Egyptian people were African people, which actually I was like, okay, wait a minute. What was going on here? And then with my reading and finding out more and more I'm exposed to these things, I realized most of these people that actually died in this whole idea or concept of God that we have been given, most of the people, not necessarily most of those people, but nations of those people in the Bible have been basically genocides. So I don't know about you. I don't know if you guys would prefer genocides and be like, oh no, it's okay. Let us kill all these people. No, it's fine. But my only problem is all of those people have been black people, And it's not that I'm saying all of these things because I'm trying to skew up all the information that you guys have been given, or I'm trying to make sure that you guys are faced with now I'm trying to cause this rage, national frenzy or anything like that. But I'm trying to bring you guys into the light and into understanding all these things. And so basically I got very angry with finding out all of that information. And then I continued digging. And then from my digging even further, I also found out that basically there's a certain structure, a certain method, a certain pattern that we as people living on planet Earth are supposed to be following. The one that conditions us and turns us into robots and, having the same mindsets. We are taught at school to think the same. We are taught to have the same ideas about life, to have the same ideas about existence, same ideas about everything. Practically, it feels like, for me, it has always felt like someone has been trying to actually keep us into following a certain pattern about life that has been taught by someone else, of which really didn't make sense and it wasn't enough. So digging further about our past, I also found out that there's different places like whereby there are statues, like in China there are statues whereby there's a statue of Buddhism, and there's other guru, there's all these other gods that have been there. And I also found out that all of those gods, they have been African people. It's basically just that there's the tradition whereby you were called a god. You were called a god basically because you excelled in that particular field or that particular area, whether it was because of mathematics or whether it was because of the particular studies, your wisdom, your insights, anything like that. So you were called a god of that. Therefore, with you exploring that area, they would build a statue based on your actual appearances, and to an extent whereby people would actually even pray to you because they believed that all these things that we've seen are done by this person have actually done these changes, and surely there must be something magnificent about this person. And then therefore you'd be called a god then. Now, and then I also found out that there's things that are put into the food that we eat to actually make sure that we don't really last that long. In our days, our parents go as far as 60s, you know, just then, and then, you know, most people basically just go as far as 60s, and the next thing is they lapse. Or even 30s, the early 30s, they start finding out, oh, I have a disease, I have certain diseases, you know, chronic diseases, whether it be diabetes, whether it be cancer, whether it be, you know, high blood pressure or anything like that, arthritis, you know, all these different things that have been put onto us. And you wonder, why is it that we no longer live as much as we were supposed to? Like, you know, as much as all the olden people in the olden ages used to live, you know? And then I also found out, and then I became very angry from then. I was like, no, this is just not enough. Someone keeps on taking things from us. In the same sense, why I'm making these videos, just to make sure that you guys are aware of these things. And I have also been bothered about, you know, how I have been harassed. Basically, I used to read all of these things and I used to share all of this information with people on Facebook. And then I also realized it was very strange how, you know, I was starting to be investigated with my post, and, you know, it was like, okay, so what's going on? For me, it felt like someone did not want me to find out all this information, and someone was trying to find out exactly, even if I do have information, just exactly how far have I gone with this knowledge and with this digging and this research about all of this information. And I was like, whoa, okay. And then I spent like a whole year without social media, and basically trying to dig and dig and dig and dig without people knowing how further and how far and how deep had I gone. So yeah. And then from that point, I also took it upon myself to try and make changes, you know, try and make changes, personal development on myself, and personal changes and personal development in terms of how I thought, you know, which is very important, you know. Regardless all this information that we have been given, and regardless all these things that have been happening to us as Black people, and not necessarily only just Black people, us as, you know, human beings. I also found out a lot of other things. Basically, I feel like I've been tracked, which is part of another reason why, you know, you'd find at my laptop there's a sticker where there's supposed to be a camera, and you're supposed, you know, when you're Skyping with other people, and I usually put a sticker there because I don't want people finding out more information about, you know, I know that people can easily hack into your computer and find out the things that you're doing at that time and everything, you know. And I also realized that, you know, there's a pattern of trying to monitor us and trying to keep us into a certain state of mind in order for us to continue doing things upon each other, whether it be war, creating genocide, and whether it be hatred, you know, all these things that create all these negative beliefs, and that creates all these negative energies that will eventually come back to haunt us, and that will actually not even allow us to develop as people, right? So I've gone as far as being angry to that, you know, like, oh no, I am African. Why were they doing all of these things to us? Oh, you know, I'm a Black child. I need to do something about it. Up until I realized, you know, being angry about all these things is just not enough. It's not gonna do any justice at all. And I dug up information about how the food that we eat is actually supposed to slow us down, make us have low energies, you know, and even, you know, just for the fact that you should not even last, you shouldn't be alive up to a certain age, you know. Certain diseases are supposed to, you know, follow you, and as soon as, you know, you grow up, after school, all these years from school, let it be, I don't know, 18, 20 years in school, you know, just you trying to pursue careers. And then from then, you're given this idea whereby you're supposed to get married, and then all of a sudden you're supposed to get married, and then supposed to have a child. And then from then, it's just stress upon stress, because now your child is growing up, and then there's things, and then there's complications with the people around you, there's complications with the work, you don't feel like it's enough, the work that you're doing, because mainly because you started doing the work that you were doing mainly because you were trying to provide for your family, because you're from an African family, and you realized you had to move and you had to do something, you had to provide for the people in your household, which is just not enough, you know. And in the food, there's all these different chemicals and things that have been put there. And I think you should also just take time, Google that, Google search that and find out all this information, all these things that I'm telling you. Not just, things I just woke up today. I was like, oh, let me try to maybe influence the world in a certain way. No, it's things I've been digging up on, and it's things that are actually real, and it's things that are there, all these chemicals and things that have been put in water. I'm not even gonna, I'm just gonna briefly say all these things just so that you guys can take it up to yourself to actually go back home and investigate these people. Google search it. You kids and students, you guys are academics. You can Google search these things and find them out. They are all there, you know? And then it even went to an extent whereby, I don't know if I should be saying this, because, like, okay, whereby I found out things about, even the moon. Yes, the moon. I know other people who have been doing the research, and other people who are woke by now, who are back to their consciousness. They actually know what I'm talking about. And I also found out exactly why should we be monitored, why should we be programmed in a certain manner, why should we be behaving in a certain manner. And I only find out that it's just, apart from everything else, and apart from all of this information that I've given you for like the past 16 minutes or so, let's just say I'm only just putting all these cards on the table for you guys to go and further investigate these things for yourselves. Okay, so, and in that, I'm just only gonna help you guys in, trying to come back into the light, and then finding out, what can you do about these things. Not necessarily trying to start a war about it or anything like that, but like, what can you do now that all these things have been done to us, and we've discovered the truth in all of it. But like, what can we do? What changes and what developments can we put out there to actually make sure that we break the cycle of this whole thing, and it stops, and it doesn't necessarily have to continue happening. All right. And then, so yeah, okay, basically I also found out that us as human beings, as we are here, we are born into this world in clean slates. I'm sure it's not the first time you've heard that. That's a very familiar concept in psychology, especially. We are born in clean slates, whereby we will be taught how to behave, and we will be taught what is right and wrong, right? All of those things, basically depending on the environment, the social structure and the people around you at that time when you are growing up, and your parents are responsible for that as well. So for me, it wasn't enough. Okay, I'm born in this clean slate. I've been given all this information and all these things, but what is it exactly am I here for? What am I doing here? Like, and all of a sudden, boom, I'm here. And what is it exactly that I'm doing here? And I also find out that, there's a deeper concept about us. I also started doing up and digging up information about the law of attraction, and I found out how it operates and how it works. And then, in my own surprise, to my own surprise, I realized how most of the things that I thought about, even while I was still in high school, all the things that I wanted to accomplish, the things that I'm doing now, I'm like, okay, all these things are things that I thought about, and now they are actually happening. At times it doesn't necessarily have to be like a long-term thing, because like at times I know you can just basically be thinking about something at that right particular moment, and you're like, oh, I wish I could see my particular friend. And then that the next day, boom, you see that particular friend, and you're like, oh, it's been a long time. I thought about you. And then I thought, surely there must be something, brilliant or supreme about us, for the fact that we can create things with our thoughts. And then that was when things started to become even more interesting. I started manifesting things. I started thinking things, in the same sense. I would be thinking things and then they would manifest in my life. But I also realized that I also need to try and make sure that the thoughts that I think about aren't necessarily just negative thoughts, but also thoughts that are positive and that could create something for me, for myself, right? And then I explored it and then I realized, okay, wow, these things, it actually works. The law of attraction actually works. Wow, you know but I also realized that in with the law of attraction actually working, it actually only means that we as human beings have been put here in this world to actually become to actually become gods, in the sense that we create and we make things happen in our heads just by our thoughts, right? Which was like, okay, enlightenment. Okay, now this is the concept of enlightenment. It is us being able to manifest and make things happen through our thoughts. How so? That cause for us to actually be able to open our third eye. By using our third eye, we are able to manifest and see things. We're able to see and download information and see things from the past, see things, past events, see things from the future, be able to, depending on the person that you are and depending on whatever projects that you are supposed to be doing while you're here. So basically, with the enlightenment, I also realized that it's in all of these things. The law of attraction doesn't necessarily only just works or based on just having the law of attraction working and you being manifesting, you being able to manifest all these things, and for you to allow yourself to have all of these things, but it's also basically about based on around the concepts of you and finding yourself, self-finding, and trying to contribute and make sure that all these things you contribute somehow in this world while you're still connected in this world, while you're still alive, while you're still here. So basically I also find out that we are not just we're not just living in this physical world. Basically we are beings, supreme beings, having a human experience on the physical world in our bodies, right? So yeah, guys, there's basically a lot of things that I would like to share with you guys in helping to bring you guys into the light. And by me bringing you guys into the light, it basically means that allowing more and more people to be woke and to be in a state of consciousness whereby you realize who you are and you're able to take on whatever it is that you were created for into this world, and you're able to pursue that and to be able to accomplish your dreams and make all of those things happen for you. So yeah, basically, if you're interested in all these things that I've been telling you, all you need to do is to subscribe, right? Just subscribe, click on the subscribe button, and of course like the video. I'd really appreciate your support for now, and as we are pushing this whole thing of enlightenment, thank you very much again. My name is Snethemba Mncwango. This has all been so amazing.